going on, brothers of YouTube? Realize you're back into the video. Fellas, we have a special guest on today, and we are totally looking forward to this, man. We got Javian coming on, bro.
Yes, sir.
Javian, I've known Javian for a while now, a couple years now. He's been doing his thing. He has a very bright testimony, man, and I look forward to having him on, man. So, Javian, if you can kind of introduce yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, first of all, appreciate you for having me, Elijah. Like you said, we got connected a few years back, and it's just been exciting to see your journey and where you've been really leading men into in terms of a sense of purpose and discipline in their life. So just first want to give you the acknowledgement for that, because it's a heavy task, and somebody has to do it, right? So little brief kind of introduction about myself. My name is Javian. Go by King J on YouTube and all social media. So if you see me there, that's who I am. But in general, I am a mindset and transformation coach. So I help people really figure out where the gap is from where they are now to where they want to be in their life and business, and just help close that gap by reprogramming the mindset, because I believe everything starts with your thoughts. And if we can get the thoughts in alignment with the version of ourselves that we want to be, I think that's where we really start to see transformation. And at least that's what happened in my life, which I went from, broke, busted, in jail, college dropout, no direction, no clarity, no purpose, to now in Dallas, Texas, 5 years, full-time entrepreneur. And really, we can dive deeper into the story, but really just in a lot better spot internally, I will say. And that's been the biggest impact.
100%, man. Well, first of all, man, I think all of us are looking forward to hearing your story. Seeing where you kind of came from, you know what I mean, going to jail and seeing the prosperous life that you have right now, man. So, and first and foremost, if you guys have any questions down below for either me or Javian, please put in the comments down below. We'd love to answer them. And yeah, we'll go from there, man. So, yeah, man. So let's talk, man. So first and foremost, man. I know that you have, I've known you, man. It's crazy because I've known Javian, man. We actually did a collab on his channel, right? Was it your channel, right?
I believe so. What was this? Maybe like 2-3 years ago?
I think it was 2020.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. So I've seen the kind of the transformation, man, and seeing how you went from that to changing your life completely, man. So I did want to ask you a couple of questions, man. So, what kind of, because obviously there's a lot of men here who are from the sexual purity community, the quitting pornography community and stuff like that. And they want to change their life in that aspect. Also, we know that, sexual purity is more than internal base. And once you get your internal base set up, you want to get your external base set up, Right. I would say you would kind of say you would kind of escape the matrix in that area and stuff like that. So what kind of sparked that change in you, man, to kind of make that switch of like, dude, I need to change my life. I want to get a restoration. Can I talk about that?
Yeah, I think that it's a great question. It's a great question because I think change starts with a moment. Change always starts with a decision. So really, I think there's been several key decisions or moments in my life that have kind of pushed me in towards the direction of my destiny, right? And like where I'm headed with my life. But obviously some of those decisions or some of those moments have bigger impact than others, and they really show up more so in my results. So I say one of the biggest decisions is, I spoke on it briefly in kind of my introduction, but there was a moment where I decided to drop out of school. And really that moment was, like you said, maybe beginning of 2020. It was my I was finishing my junior year, first semester. So this was second semester, junior year. So third year in school, I had went through the process, and I got to the moment where I was just like, okay, this is not in alignment with the version of myself who I see in the future. Because up until that point, I was really relying on kind of my dad and his direction of how he felt my life should go. And you should go to school and do this thing. And also there was some internal conflict of like, okay, well, maybe if I go to school, I can gain certain skill sets that can help me in business later on. So I always knew I wanted to be in business and be an entrepreneur. I just thought that school was going to be a vehicle to help me get there. what I quickly realized when I got into school and like actually into my program, which takes 2 years of doing general studies till you get into your program. Mine was computer information systems. So I'm like doing 2 years of just like general studies in hopes that once I get into computer information systems, I'm gonna start to learn some valuable stuff that can help. Funny thing was, after that first semester, I'm like, okay, I realized this is super outdated. This is not going to help me go out there and sell services, sell products, and make money in my pocket. So that's where I was just like, okay, this is not really in alignment, and I decided to drop out with no clear plan, no clear path. I was working at Best Buy at the time, back in Michigan. I'm in Dallas, Texas now. But yeah, that was kind of the catalyst moment, I'll say, to where I really put my I don't want to be over dramatic and say my life on the line, but I definitely put my future on the line by deciding to go a completely different direction than where I was headed up until that point.
100%, man. And first of all, it's good that you had that mindset back then that, okay, I needed to make a change and not really rely on what your parents tell you, because I know how important it is, just even externally too. Like your parents may want you to go one way, but the truth is, like, your desires, you want to go another way. There's no reason to spend thousands of dollars on student loans when you don't know, you know what I mean? When this is the path you want to go on. Yes. So, amen, bro. And
were you ever in school, university?
I was in university for 1 year. Yeah, 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely, I know what it's like, man. Like just going against what your parents tell you, and then feeling like you're just honoring them, and then like you're still focused on what you need to focus on, and then soon it works out, and then now your parents support that. So I know how important it is, man. So
what made you leave?
I left 2018. I left in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you leave? Want to leave?
So I mean, it wasn't a decision. I actually I was in the RTC program. I was getting ready to go to the Air Force. Was on scholarship and everything, but got injured, so I wasn't able to go. So I was forced with a decision to make. Like, should I go to the National Guard or should I do YouTube? You know what I mean? And I've always wanted to do YouTube, man. You know what I mean? YouTube full time. So we've been on the grind since then.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah,
was it like the National Guard? Was that something like in your vision and plan from the start, or was that kind of somebody else was like putting those ideas kind of in your path?
Yeah, it was my parents. My parents put the idea to go to the National Guard. I think afterwards, like I said, I respect the military. The military is great. If you're going for the benefit side, and even for people who want to serve their country, it's really good. For me, I know I needed to get, I needed to go and stuff, but that's kind of what happened. But yeah, unfortunately, I just wasn't able to go. Yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. So yeah, man. So I wanted to ask you this, man. So I know in terms of like sexual purity and kind of moving on with that, like it's crazy because sexual purity, I would say, kind of aligns with like finances as well. You know what I mean? I would say it's definitely two different things in terms of like, you have to have the mental side, and you kind of teach that in your program. Semen retention is also a discipline too. There's certain things you have to do for discipline, like to go to the next level. And if you guys don't know, but next Saturday I'll be hitting 6 years of semen retention.
Sheesh.
6 years, 6 years, brother. Got to put that. You know what I mean? So we're doing it. We're doing our thing. And but yeah, so like seeing the fact that you have like success in business and stuff like that, I think that a lot of men, and I think this is in general, in terms of mentality, a lot of men have the mindset that this is their norm. Like that you have to struggle. Like at least when I know, like some people that I know on semen retention, they may go, the highest streak is maybe 15 days, something like that. And they believe that this is the reality, like of them just going 15 to 20 days and so on and so forth. So I believe that kind of ties in with finances. Like, how do you believe that, like, in a mentality way, a lot of Christians, and kind of talk about that, because I know you're a Christian man that follow the biblical principles as well. So kind of talk about how a lot of people in the world, they have like a kind of like a lack of mindset with money, and they believe that you're supposed to, like, they don't believe you're supposed to be broke, but they're in the mindset of poverty. They're in the mindset of living paycheck to paycheck. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, man. Where do we start? Right. I think it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue in our community, right? Because I don't think it's in alignment with God's will and the way that God wants us to live. Like, I don't think we should be lacking anything. You know, it says in the Bible that we won't lack anything, right? You'll have everything like nothing. So I think, you know, when you talk about mindset, I think it's a great place to start, because I do believe that any action or any behavior that we do first starts as a thought. You know, we first have to have the idea to have a podcast or come on here on Saturday. You first have to have the idea and you know, present it in a way to where we're here now actually doing the action.
100%.
You know, to figure out how to make money, I have to have the idea of how I'm going to go make money. So what stops or causes our ideas from becoming conscious, like, you know, being something that we actually think about? Well, I believe it really goes down to our beliefs and values, right? So ultimately, how our brain identifies opportunities is it generalizes, deletes, and distorts information from our reality. And then we only process the information that's important to us, the information that's important to our beliefs and our values, right? So there's always opportunities, there's always things going on in our environment, but the people that notice those opportunities and they take action on the opportunities, they have beliefs and values that support going after those opportunities. So for example, you know, there may be a way for someone to make money. You know, we get hit with thousands of ads every day, from, you know, drop shipping opportunities to sales opportunities to, you know, do this thing to make money. So there's a lot of ways to make money, and they all work, because if you go down any rabbit hole of any of those business models, there's always somebody making money with it, right? So all those business models do work, but what's going to determine if somebody actually goes out, joins that program, takes action on the course, goes out there and get a client, make a sale, you know, create a product, create a landing page? Like, what is going to allow someone to do that is if, one, they value being an entrepreneur, they value freedom, they value being able to go out there and produce without being reliant on someone else. So they first have to have the value of self-reliance and the value of, hey, if anybody's going to create a change in my life, it's going to have to be me. So they have to value that individuality. And then two, you connect that with the belief system of saying that, hey, I believe that if I go all in with this opportunity, it's going to make money on the other side. But if I believe that if I go with this opportunity and all opportunities like this is a scam and these people are just trying to get my money, the likelihood of me investing into that program is very low. If I do invest into the program and I believe it's a scam in the back of my head, I'm going to find any reason to blame the creator of that program to say, hey, you put out a timeline of things for us to do over the next 30 days, but on day 14 and a half, you didn't give me the specific domain name to look up for this, you know, whatever it may be. They're going to find that little reason to say that this is a scam and this doesn't work.
100%. Yeah.
So I think it really comes down to our beliefs and values. And if we can shift those in alignment with the things that we want by one, believing that, you know, everything's working out for our favor and that, you know, anything that I do is created for success, and like start to stack some of these empowering beliefs, which I believe the Bible is like a dictionary or encyclopedia for empowering beliefs. And we can start to implement some of those in our lives and actually do what Jesus said and have faith in those ideas. I think we can start to see change pretty quickly.
100%, man. And it's crazy that you say that, because I know, like you said, the Bible and stuff like that. There's over, you know, when it comes to finances, there's over 2,000 Bible verses discussing money. Sheesh. You know, so it's just crazy how that, you know, I know the book of Proverbs. I know you know about the book of Proverbs, man. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of like the sluggish spirit craves to get something, but the spirit of diligence richly supplied. There's so many Bible verses discussing like you have to have your hands like molded to where you need to be at. How important is it to, like, because obviously it's about transmutation too, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How important is it to get on your sexual purity journey, you know what I mean, to be able to achieve what you want? Because I know, like, I was just talking on my live video on TikTok just before this, and I was saying your hands can either destroy you're destroying yourself by doing the doing yourself, or your hands can make you a millionaire. Your hands can cause you to make thousands of dollars, can build generational wealth, can build empires, you know what I mean, with these hands. So how important is it to, you know, be on sexual purity while, you know, building?
Bro, it's probably, I don't want to be like overzealous, but I mean, it's probably one of, if not the most important thing, right? And the reason I say this is because I was doing some research today into righteousness, because
Mm.
Jesus talks about, I have it in my cover photo on my YouTube channel, and it's the verse, seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness, and all these things would be added onto you. Right. So we think about righteousness, right? And I was doing some research, and one of the main things that pop up when you search righteousness or you look into the word is stewardship. So
Mm.
what is stewardship? So stewardship is the proper use of all your resources.
Yeah.
So people don't have a resources problem, right? There's always resources available to us through our environment, through our behavior, and the time that we have on this earth is a resource. But the difference between someone else getting results and someone else getting results is
Yeah.
their resourcefulness, how they use those resources, aka how you steward over the resources or the gifts that's been given to you. So
Mm.
one of the greatest resources I believe that we have is what we are.
Yeah.
It's energy. So if we've been given energy as a resource based on being a human, like we wouldn't be alive if we didn't have energy, right? Then one of the best things that we can do and really impacts the full capacity we have of which we do work, right, is going to
Yeah.
be our energy levels. Because in order for work to happen, there's a cycle. So we have energy, right? And then we use this energy as a process for our body to go through its functions. One of the biggest functions in our body is our brain. So our
Yeah.
brain takes in information from our environment, it processes that information, and then it uses that information for a purpose to go get us what we want.
100%.
But if we follow that tree back to the top, it starts with the energy. So I believe that energy is something that we're given, but we also steward or have proper use for through like the way that we use our environment. So for example, I believe that semen retention is like given energy. So like when we hold in our semen, when we hold in our life force, when we
Yeah.
hold in our energy, that energy is just building and
Mhm.
it's conserving in our body, and it's being used for better resources than to like actually go out through the act of sex.
100%.
But what's going to determine that value, that quality of that energy is going to be like the food that you eat. It's
Mhm.
going to be that the people that you surround yourself with. It's going to be the thoughts that you have. It's going to be the feelings that you feel. It's going to be the
Yeah.
habits that you have. So like all these things impact our energy. And I think the number one goal for anyone, if you want to be a high performer, peak performer,
Yeah.
entrepreneur, athlete, someone at the top of their game, number one goal for you has to be maximizing your energy.
Yeah.
So I believe
100%.
that semen retention and our life force is the strongest energy we have available to us.
Yeah.
So it's the number one source of energy that we should be a good steward over, I believe.
100%, man. I think that's so powerful, man. Like you're speaking life, bro. I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here literally just like accepting the life, bro. You know what I mean? Accepting the
I mean,
words of
you live
wisdom.
and breathe a testimony of it. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's right. It's just like
100%.
6 years. I mean, you gotta think how much that's impacted and helped you on your
Big time.
path. And I know, that's why your platform, your brand exists, is to share the light with
Yeah.
people. So, you're
100%,
a
man.
testimony.
Yeah, man. And it's so crazy that you say that because I think that we live in a society today, Jay. I think that we live in a society today where, first and foremost, a lot of people blame the external. They blame a lot of things external, right? There's so much. Now I live in Metro Atlanta. I live around 20 minutes away from Atlanta. So there's a lot of temptation here. I wouldn't say it's as bad as Miami or LA, but it's definitely a lot of temptation. But one thing is that you can't complain about other people. And like I said, I know again, we're talking to somebody who just a little background, man. This guy changed his whole life. 25 pounds. He gained 25 pounds of muscle. He did $3 million in sales, right? You can't tell me, and I'm about to hit 6 years of semen retention, right? So one thing is, and I'm going to ask you this, and I already know the obvious question, but I know for me, I didn't complain about the world. I didn't complain that the world was doing this. I had to actively put in the work. You know
Right.
what I mean? I had to actively put in the work, not just externally, but also internally as well. Instead of looking at Donald Trump, Donald Trump's my next president. I can't believe this. He's not 46th president. I can't. No. Instead of blaming the color of your skin, I'm not going to speak too much about the African American community, but there's a saying where because of the color of your skin, you can't do this, you can't do that, bro. All of that stuff has to go out the window. You know what I
Right.
mean? You have to go. You got to go. You got to fix what's inside, and you get a chance to control what you put in your kingdom. And
Yeah.
Jay, I know you obviously, man. We talked, brother. You know what I mean? We talked. So obviously, man, like, and I have to ask you this one question, man. Did you going from the where you started at, because I know where you started at. It was definitely a completely different version where you're at now. Did you ever complain about the external world, saying that the world is trying to tear you down, saying that the world is this, saying that like the world was trying to take you away from making $1 million? What was your mindset, bro? Did you ever complain?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I complained too much. And that complaining led to the catalyst for change. Right? Because the truth is most people only change when it becomes so painful to stay the same that they have to. So
100%.
you
Now I'm
know,
asking now, Jay, I'm asking now, obviously I know like for yourself, like you gotta be pissed off, but in terms of like the external world, in terms of like
yeah, I'm gonna go
complaining.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I had to be led to that place of pain to have that catalyst for change. And I believe that, in a different lens of viewing the world, that you don't need that pain to create a change. At any moment, you could decide to do something different and change your whole life. But for me, I needed that pain, and that pain comes through living with the results of complaining about my external circumstances.
100%. Wow.
Because we all can. You have the choice. Everybody has the choice. You have options in life. And one of the options is to complain about your external circumstances. You have the right, you have free will. God is giving you the right. Go ahead, go do it. My question is, where is that going to lead you? Because what I've observed about the world, what I've observed about reality is that this universe works on cause and effect. It talks about in the Bible that you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest causational impacts we have into the world is our vibrational state. I don't want to get too woo-woo, but I do believe that we're all energy, which has been measured.
I do agree upon that. I just want to intertwine with what you just said, because I'm gonna let you talk. But yes, energy is so important, bro. I'm telling you guys straight up, man. Listen, how you present yourself in the world is what you attract. If you keep putting yourself in a negative state and negative bond, negative bind and stuff like that, okay, you're only gonna attract that. It's the truth. People say that, oh, that's demonic. You think that? I mean, obviously, like certain things happen. It is spiritual, but the majority of the percentage is, I believe in the 80-20% rule. A lot of the percentage that you do is internal, right? What you give off is what you're going to get in return. If you go in a room and you have a lot of great energy and you do all the things, then you only attract that, whether it be business opportunities, whether it be opportunities with other things. That's what I've noticed myself, like attracting different opportunities. It's because you're on a different vibration. You can't just be with like everyone else. You have to be a different state. So yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to say that, man.
100%. And like a lot of the energy work that people describe, it really is helping you change your thoughts and changing what you focus on. And that inherently is going to present you with new opportunities because of how the brain deletes, generalizes, and distorts information. So, at any given time, there's like 2 million bits of information going on in our reality at all moments that's going on. That's the territory, right? But how we actually perceive reality, we can only process this in our brain about 134 bits of information.
Amen. Glory to God.
We collapse this territory, we collapse this information, we collapse this reality into this frame of reference, into this perception of reality that we have based on what we're focused on.
Yes.
So when we want to change our energy, we're really talking about changing our focus on the things that we don't want to things that we do want. So if we know that everything's cause and effect, if we know that we reap what we sow, if we know that we're energy and our energy signature, the way that we show up, present ourselves in the world is going to have a direct impact on the results, why in the heck would I want to be in a state where I'm blaming my external circumstances for what I'm getting?
No, never.
Because all that's going to do is lower my vibrational state. It's going to lower my energy level. It's going to pull me down and give me less creativity, less resources to actually figure out the answer that's going to help me.
100%.
Because when we're pissed off, when we're frustrated, when we're sad, when we're depressed, when we're in a negative state,
speak up, talk.
The ability to actually perceive what we can do to change our lives becomes very tough. And all we're seeing is the challenges. All we're seeing is the setbacks. All we're seeing is the naysayers. All we're seeing is the jealousy. All we're seeing is the haters. All we're hearing is the negative self-talk when we're at that state. When we're lifted ourselves up, and the simplest way to do this is to be grateful. Gratitude is the superpower. When we can start to be grateful for everything that we do have and start to raise that state up, now all of a sudden our eyes get bright and we're like, oh, I could just try this thing out, or I could hit up this person who I haven't talked to in a while, or I can, you start to fix your life as a natural byproduct of raising
Yeah.
your internal state.
Yes.
So 100% I agree with you.
And that's so crazy that you say that, man, because I do honestly believe, man, that, well, first of all, I believe that a man should be like a kid, be like a kid. Think about a kid, a kid doesn't like, think about like how God sees you right now. God sees you as a kid, even when you're 25, 30. Think about how your mom sees you. When there's something inappropriate on TV, your mom's automatically going to cover your eyes.
That's good.
Bro, it's so powerful how God works that an atheist mother can even say, hey, there's a rated R movie. She wants, hey, you need to go to the other room, or hey, you need to cover your eyes. She does not want that little kid to be accessed to this information, putting inside of the mind and putting inside the eyes, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing for same retention, guys. Okay. You got to stop listening to all this lustful music. You got to start putting positive things inside of your kingdom, the godliness in your kingdom, right? And that goes the same thing for finances, man. So I know how important it is, man, like, putting the correct things inside of your kingdom, so on and so forth. So how important is it to, like, also, because people, I know, like Eric Thomas, and shout out to Eric Thomas, he's a great motivational speaker, things like that. But there's a lot of like people telling you, hey, you got to work externally. Hey, you got to stay up till 3 a.m. in the morning. You got to do this. You got to do that. And obviously, we've heard that time and time again, but nobody talks about the internal state. Like for me, I know, at least for same retention, how I was able to go this long. Again, what you said is reap what you sow, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, bro, I had to give up my bed. I don't sleep on a bed. I've slept on the floor since 2019. All right. I've cold showers. I've been taking cold showers since 2019. I have not taken a hot shower, right? So it's really about you reap what you sow, and also what you put in your kingdom as well. Like I have not listened to a mainstream rap song because I don't want to put that in my kingdom. So and I know, like, because you talk about mentality, man, like how important is it to focus on your kingdom first? We're really focused on your kingdom, because I know you talk about that. You talk a little bit more about that on the on what you're working on too. So like, can I touch upon that?
Yeah, 100%. First, I'll say, like, for a lot of this stuff, right, where I think we're all still in the journey, including myself. Like, I'm still in the journey of going towards and seeking the kingdom first and its righteousness, and all these things will be added. So I'm constantly in that journey. So I don't want to misconstrue anyone to think that there's some moment where I can put the flag in the ground and say, I've arrived at the kingdom, and I'm here, and I'm the king of my domain now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to lead anybody in that direction. So we're still in the journey, but I think that one of the most powerful frame of minds, a frame of reference that we can have in the journey is this idea of faith, being faithful. And Jesus talked about it all the time. Like, this was his main message to the people. It's like, the kingdom is here, and the reason you're not experiencing the kingdom is oh so little faith, right? So it's like, how can we practically cultivate faith? And I've broken it down to like two, I think, emotional strategies, which are one, gratitude, and then the other, confidence. And the key word I use in there is strategies, right? Because every emotion that we feel is literally just a strategy to get what we think is important to us. So the reason why a lot of people, let's say, for example, bad things start to happen in their life and they feel negative because of these bad things. They feel depressed, or they feel lonely, they feel frustrated, feel anxiety, whatever it may be. And then I use those bad emotions, and then I go and talk to my friend, and then they say, hey, it's going to be okay. You're a great person and you're going to figure it out. And they build me up, right? They give me sympathy. So a lot of times we get in negative states as a strategy to gain sympathy, which is pleasure. Because at the root of our nervous system, at the root of our psychology, we do things only to avoid pain and go towards pleasure.
100%. Yeah.
But it's not what's actually painful, what's actually pleasurable. It's what we perceive as pain and what we perceive as pleasure.
Yeah.
Right. So we can perceive something as being pleasurable, although it's not something that serves us anymore because we're older. Yes, I believe that to enter the kingdom, we must become like children again. But it also says to put away the things of a child, because I'm older now, and therefore I speak from my age. I speak from my wisdom. I put down the things that I've known when I was little. So some of those strategies, some of those emotional strategies that we use, such as depression, such as sadness, such as anger, such as fear, to then get sympathy, to get what we want. Like, I was even reflecting this about myself. I'm like, I think I became naturally more introverted as I got older, because when I was younger and I would go out there and want to make friends, want to build connections with people, and be extroverted, I would get like made fun of, right?
Mm,
Like I would get
mhm,
bullied. But then when
mhm.
I was introverted, I would get people coming to reach out. Hey, what's wrong? Hey, why you so quiet? Hey, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you today? So I would get the attention. So like over time, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm associating pleasure with this attention I'm getting, and therefore that created like a state of uh me being introverted.
Yeah.
But the quickest hack to peak performance, the quickest hack to making money, the quickest hack to attracting the life that you want, attracting the type of woman that you want, attracting the type of lifestyle that you want, the quickest hack, the quickest emotional strategy to get you there, it's just confidence.
Mm,
It's really just believing in a positive future outcome, having
mhm.
positive expectations for the future. So one of the best reframes that you can do before you do anything is imagine the best case scenario of how this will go. Before I
Yes.
hopped on this podcast,
Wow.
I imagined
Wow.
and set the outcome, set the intention that, hey, we're gonna change some lives today. I'm
Mhm.
here to change lives. I'm not here to just shoot the stuff and
Yeah.
talk to Elijah, have a good time. I'm here to change lives. That's why we're here.
100%.
So when you hop on that sales call, it's I'm here to change this person's life. I'm an agent of change. I'm a
That's what
transformation
it is.
agent. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
sell a product. I'm here to help this person make a change, transformation in life, get them to the next level.
100%.
So if you want to hack, if you want a shortcut, the shortcut to success is confidence. Now, how
Mhm.
do you build that? Well, it comes through doing a specific set of things that help you build that faith in yourself.
Mhm.
But one of those things, it's not beating yourself up so dang much.
Yep.
Like everybody wants to say is you versus you, is me versus me, and you got to fix this, you got to fix this. But like, that's not going to build trust with yourself because you're always focusing on what you're doing wrong.
Mm,
But
mm.
what builds trust is focusing more so on what you're doing right, and more
Yeah.
so patting yourself on the back and being your own best friend and
Yes.
saying like, well, you're doing great. Well, you did do this. Well, you started here. Now you're here. Even though maybe lost some things along the way, you have the wisdom, and that is something nobody can take away from you. So you can
100%.
have just confidence in nothing of the external circumstances and just in the wisdom that you have now from going through the life experiences that you did in the past that got you where you are. And that's where the other piece comes in, that gratitude, and with confidence and confidence for the future and gratitude of the past, and you pull both of those energies into the moment. Now you got some real power, some real power to take control and take charge of your life.
It's very powerful, man. And because obviously I know you mentioned gratitude, man, because like gratitude is so important. I actually teach that in our training program. That's actually one of the first things, man, is write down 60 things that you're grateful for. And one of them being, I'm grateful for my sexual purity journey, because it's
Mhm.
crazy that you mentioned, man, that um, what I've noticed, and this is what I've noticed, Jay. I've noticed that a lot of there's 67% of Christians watch pornography.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? 67%. So not 20%, not 15, 67. That's a lot of percentage, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Majority.
And it just shows you, man, that like you ask them, hey, okay, you're reading the word, right? Yeah, yeah, I'm reading the word. You love Jesus, right? Yeah, I love Jesus. Yeah, you believe that you're saved by grace and grace. Like, yeah, yeah, I do believe that stuff. Like, so there's strong Christian men, but why is the fact they're only on day two? Same thing for finances. Okay, why are there more atheists? And I don't even want to get I don't even want to touch this, but there's a lot of atheists who don't even believe in God, but they naturally apply what some of the biblical scripture teaches, and they're able to scale up their business like no other. And how come this Christian is living barely paying his bills,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it just shows you, man, that like it intertwines with everything, right? Are
Mhm.
you putting the work for yourself? If
Mhm.
you can actively say that, oh, but there's Christians that blame Trump, there's Christians that blame this, but they don't actively put in the work for themselves, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I think that some of the belief systems we may have, and you can kind of touch upon this, but maybe our parents, maybe
Mhm.
we didn't grow up with rich parents or something like that. So we've kind of ingrained that mentality from them, and now we have to reprogram our mind to think differently, right? That's the same
Mhm.
thing for sin retention. Like you have to reprogram your mind. That's after the spiritual cleansing, right? That's what we teach in
Mhm.
our program. But
Yep.
also afterwards is that it's a mentality. You got to change your mentality. You can't just keep focusing on like it's just like this, just like you said, bro. It's like if you keep focusing on the negative, you'll get that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You gotta focus on the positive. And we teach that, bro. If you keep focusing on the negative, if you keep focusing on don't relapse, don't relapse, don't relapse, or don't gosh, if you're creating resistance, where, dude, I can't believe I'm relapsing. I can't believe, and then people crossing an X on the calendar saying how many days they're on. If you put too much emphasis on it, then you're only going to put attention towards the relapse, right?
That's good.
So talk about how, people, a lot of Christians, they're not really tapping into their true potential, because I've seen a lot of atheists, man, how it's crazy. They have these big platforms. They're these guys who are making millions of dollars and all this stuff, and then they have these big platforms, and they really don't talk about God. They really are against God, to be honest.
Yep.
But then what about the Christians? Where are the big time Christians who have the authority? Because regardless or not, I mean, if we can agree on this, but money is definitely power. Money can bring tools, like it holds a sign of power where you can invest inside of a church. You can do this, you can do that with money, right?
Yep.
When we think about a seed is, hey, can you sow a seed in our church? That's money. If somebody did $1,000 for the seed, that would bless the church.
Yep.
So money is a sign of blessing, man. So why don't you think that a lot of Christians, and we'll kind of wrap it up a little bit, but why don't you think a lot of Christians, man, are not living the true freedom, bro? They're not living in freedom. I think a lot of Christians, bro, they say, oh, I'm just being humbled unto Christ. I'm being humbled unto God. Yeah. What about the Bible verses? I am strong and courageous. What about the Bible verses? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Right.
And what about those Bible verses? A lot of people think that being weak is a sign that you are being humbled unto God. God didn't want us to be weak to the world. He did not want us to live in slavery to the world, to sin. So kind of talk about that, bro. Why aren't Christians living at that true potential, bro?
Yeah, man, that's so good. That's so good. I mean, I think you kind of hitting the nail on the head with it. It's you're breaking down specific beliefs that Christians don't have, and I think it starts like the stem, like the root, comes from this idea of being a Christian. And this might be a little controversial, but we're gonna dive into it. So I think like a lot of it starts with this idea of being a Christian, because the strongest motivator in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with who you believe you are. So the strongest force in the human personality, the reason why you do all your decisions, why you take all the actions that you do, is for the need to stay consistent with who you believe you are. Now, who we believe we are usually is called like your identity. You probably heard this in like different circles. People say like, oh, shift your identity. But for Christians or people that call themselves believers or followers of Christ, one of the biggest identity shifts I believe we have to make, and Christ even talked about this, what a coincidence, is like this idea, this shift from a works-based mindset where I have to do work in order to be worthy enough for God's love. Because I believe at the core of all human, at the core of every soul, when we come into this world, we're left fully in survival mode. Like we're left fully vulnerable to life. So what we want to do is have the love, the rapport from our parents, because with this rapport, with this love, now we can survive. So we all just want to really survive in our psychology, but at our soul level, I think we all have this need for love, this connection. But one of the biggest fears people have is, I'm going to do all these things. I'm trying to do these things so I can be worthy enough one day of love. I can be good enough for love one day. So people build businesses, people get in shape, people travel, people build personal brands, people do a lot of things in order to feel good enough to be loved one day.
Yeah.
But I believe that this holds a lot of people back, and especially in the Christian community, is because we're constantly in a state of not having. We're constantly in a state of scarcity because they believe that there's a scarce amount of resources, there's a scarce amount of love, there's a scarce amount of things out there that I can have, and I have to do these things to go capture these scarce amount of resources.
Yeah.
But It's not a zero-sum game. There's not winners and losers. This is an infinite game that we're playing. There's an infinite amount of love out there if you tap into it. That's what God is. He is infinite. And when we're in his grace, really what we're saying is we're embodying the identity of a kingdom citizen.
Yes.
Of someone who inherits the blessings of the kingdom as a divine right through our belief in Jesus Christ, as opposed to something we have to work towards to be worthy of receiving one day. Wow. So when we come from a rights-based mindset of being identified with our citizenship of the kingdom and the king and his laws of grace to the people that believe in him. That is
Yeah.
the new law. That is the new commandment. That is the new covenant, right? The New Testament is the law of faith through grace, or law of grace through faith, excuse me.
Yeah.
But once we start to live that law through humbleness of our spirit, understanding that we'll never be good enough, and that's the whole point, is we don't have to be, because someone came before us who already was, and we can just inherit the blessings of him, and we start to reprogram our identity to feel already abundant now, because that's the message of the kingdom.
Mhm.
Then I believe the abundance starts to show up elsewhere. Does that make sense?
Wow. That makes a lot, bro. That makes so much sense. It's definitely because the word says you are transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? It is so true, man. 110%. Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest shift. I think us as kingdom citizens, Christians, Christ followers can make now in our mindset is understanding that, hey, I'm already healed now. I'm
Mm.
already perfect now.
Glory to
Christ
God.
has already did the work now. It's already done now.
Wow.
And then I think that immediately changes your state, immediately lifts your vibration. And then you can go to the Bible and start to stack those beliefs, starts to stack those affirmations.
Yes. Yes.
Psalms is full of them. Proverbs is full of them.
Yes.
Jesus gave us a lot. You know, so once we start to really imprint the word on our hearts, like the Bible says for us to do, then I think we start to live the you said we'll know them by their fruit. So I think we start to show fruit as a result.
100%, bro. And here's the last question I have for you, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you for saying that, because I know, like, really, like, you know, I what I kind of got from that is, like, you're really transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like, when you realize, I remember when I was starting my journey, it was crazy because, like, I was trying to do my journey from August 2018 to December 2018, and I started my journey of sexual purity January 4, 2019, right? But during that time, I never really trusted God. I was trying to depend on my own self. I was very resistant. And then January 3rd of 2019, I prayed. I said, I was, you know, I really was praying. I said, God, give me 30 days. Just give me 30 days of no fat. Give me 30 days. You know what I mean? So I was very limited. But the thing about it is that January 4th, I just decided to let go and let God, right? Let go and let God, right?
That's good.
And when I just let go of everything I was going through, that's when I started my journey. God gave me revelation on what I need to do, like doing this action step, doing that action step. And that prayer that I said wanted to go 30 days turned into a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
And by next week, by the God's grace, we'll be hitting 6 years, bro. So,
That's so good. That's
you know
so
what I
good.
mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all glory to God, man. So let me ask you this, man. So
Something I wanted to touch on before you get to the last question is that's like a principle I talk about a lot, which is the law of detachment. Like I just had a coaching call with a group on Monday. We do a kingdom mindset call for a e-commerce group I'm working with, e-commerce entrepreneurs. And I was talking to one of the ladies, and she was just like, yeah, I'm having these thoughts of like overthinking, and I'm overanalyzing, and you know, I'm not really testing as many new products and new stores as I can because I'm overanalyzing, overthinking. And then we talked about it, and really came down to the core was her attachment to this idea that she's overthinking, this attachment to this idea that she's overanalyzing. So, you know, I think the law of detachment is not, you know, spoken about like the manifestation, new age community, about like, oh, you want to detach from your desires. You want to detach from your vision. If we talk about it in a kingdom context, you want to attach from your goals, right? But you don't really want to detach from those things. You still want to have focus on those things. What you want to detach from is you want to detach from the negative emotions holding you back. You want to detach from the negative stories holding you back, which it sounds like you had like a story that was holding you back of like, hey, I have to do this on my own strength. But when you let go of that negative story and said, no, let me let God, and more so reframe and lean into the truth of the matter, which is God gives you the strength, then that's when the shift happens. So I love that story.
Glory to God, man. Well, also, man. Well, I tell you what, man, because like I know how important like detaching is. It's very important. I feel like people create a lot of resistance. They try to do all these tactics of getting a calendar and, you know what I mean, crossing the days out. You're not detaching away from it. You got to focus on something. You got to transmit your energy, do your thing. So, last question I have for you, man. So, well, actually, two questions. Is number one, what would be your biggest advice for somebody wanting to get freedom in 2025? Like actually living, not having the mindset, oh yeah, 2025 is my year, but actually living in their breakthrough in 2025.
Mhm.
And the next question is, where can they find you? What business do you run? Things like that.
For sure, for sure. And then freedom, just so I'm clear, is like freedom, like financial freedom, or just freedom in general?
I would say freedom in general, with the finances and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. For sure. So yeah, I think that really it's everything that we talked about today, guys. Like, there's no magic pill, there's no secret sauce, there's no secret formula solution I'm about to give you that's going to just open your mind, and now I have the exact path to freedom in 2025. Like,
And I got the key. And rather than
right,
think he got the key to the box, bro.
right. I want to be clear about that because I believe in setting expectations properly. But one of the expectations we should have for our lives is that everything's working out for our good. So I don't believe that your life is going to change next year. It's not going to change in January. It's not going to change just because January 7th came around and now it's a new Monday. Like, it's not going to change because of that. But your life can change now if you decide to make a change. So everybody in this chat, everybody who's watching the replay, everybody who's listening to this right now, certain things in your life that you have to change in order to get new results. And just as a hint, just as a curiosity, there's certain things that you're going to have to let go of. I believe letting go is that key. It's going to be certain people that you're going to have to let go of, certain habits that you're going to have to let go of, certain environments that you're going to have to stop being around and let go of, certain entertainment and content that you watch that you're going to have to let go of, certain ways of speaking in your own language you're going to have to let go of, certain business models that you've been putting in your time and effort into for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years into that you're going to have to let go of, certain thoughts that you're going to have to let go of, certain feelings that may feel comfortable and in your comfort zone that you're going to have to let go of, certain actions that you've just been doing for the past 20 years of your life that you've always been doing that you're just going to have to let go of. That is the truth. If you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to let go of some of these things. Now, how do you do that? Because, we've all tried to let go of things in the past, and you may let go of it for a couple of days, but then you fall back into it. So I believe the truth and the way to sustain change is reprogramming your nervous system to be in alignment with your goals. Because if your nervous system, aka the way that you think, the way that you feel, and the way that your body reacts to certain situations is the same as it is right now, then you're always going to get triggered. You're always going to do some habit that doesn't serve you. And that habit that doesn't serve you is going to lead to the results that you have now that you don't like. So what we have to do is literally change our neurochemistry to have a different reaction to certain cues that set us in a new trajectory in our life. So what does this look like in practicality? Maybe right now, the cue is for you when your alarm goes off in the morning. After that alarm goes off, you immediately kick back, start scrolling on your phone, and you stay in bed for the next 30 minutes and then eventually make it out and start your day. Okay, so that's a cue that leads to a trigger of a moment of you doing something. But in that moment, what if it was possible to have a new brain? Like, imagine you just put a new brain in your mind, new neurochemistry. And when this trigger happened, instead of your brain immediately wanting and desiring to go back into your bed and scroll on your phone, your brain, your body, your language, your self-talk, your whole being is motivated to doing the next action, which could be going to the gym or drinking a glass of water or reading a book or connecting with God or having prayer or reading the Bible, whatever it may be. What if your neurochemistry, your actual nervous system could change to be more likely to take this new event? Well, now you're just stacking the deck of you actually making the decision that you know already. I'm not telling you something you don't know. You're just stacking the deck to make the decision that you already know is best for your life. So in order to have change in 2025, I think we just have to stack the deck with as many resources that help us do the things that we already know that we should be doing. And some of the best ones are changing your brain chemistry, because it all starts with the thought, and then putting yourself in some new environments, joining more talks like this, attending more networking meetings, hire a coach, join a community, get into a program, whatever you got to do to change your environment. So then at all times, you're just reconditioning these changes,
Yes.
and you're literally renewing your mind, as the Bible talks about. And I think that, you can start to inherit some of those blessings that were already promised by the Lord, our Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's that. Where can you guys find me? I am on all social medias at Javian Hodges. So at Javian Hodges. I can maybe put it in the comments.
We'll put it in the I'll put in the
show notes.
I'll put in the in the comments down below. I'll put in the comments after the video.
Yeah. Okay. Yo, at Javian Hodges, everywhere you'll see King J, Instagram, YouTube. That's where I'm most active. And then if you guys are looking for a community that talks about self-improvement, building your own personal influence, allowing you to go out there and lead, persuade, and help others in a more impactful way, and do it all while performing your best and really maximizing your energy, I created a free university and community called Prosper University. So we'll make sure we get the links to that in the chat. And Prosper University is going to be the platform to help you crush 2025 in all areas of life. So if you want to make more income, have more impact, and build your influence in this world so you can go out there and produce and do your God-given mission and purpose, join Prosper University, and I'll see you on the other side.
Boom. Let's go. Glory to God, man.
Hey,
Glory to God,
man. All praise.
Man. 100%, bro. Well, first and foremost, man, dude, it's crazy because we're collaborating, but I'm the one that's like soaking in all the information that you're talking about. Like I'm trying to write down notes or something like that. You know what I mean? Where's my snack at, bro? I should have. You know what I mean?
We got the replay. Don't worry.
100%, man. Those are some gems. 100%. And guys, if you guys have any questions or anything, any personal questions you want to ask me or him, you can find me on EM_souls. Feel free to contact me. If you have any questions regarding just freedom in general or freedom regarding finances, want to change your mentality, definitely go to King J. I'm personally going to end up working with him, going under his wing, wanting to learn more about what he has to offer and stuff like that. I'm personally taking coaching from him. So if you guys have any mentality switches you guys want to make, or just in general, definitely go to King J, man. He's definitely a great guy to work with, and someone that is definitely very trustable. So, but with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
My brother, appreciate you.